Most presenters don't begin a presentation as much as they stumble into it, mumbling their name and role, perhaps mentioning some unspecific subject on which they're about to present, and if we're lucky, we get to know if we can ask questions or not, but usually we have to divine that from the air. In this video, I'm going to give you a 4-step structure that's going to help you to engage and captivate your audience right from the get-go. And stick with me to the end, because I'm going to give you 2 extra pieces that will engage your senior leaders so they don't derail you. And if you're speaking to mixed audiences and are worried that you might lose part of them during your presentation, this element will keep them with you regardless of how technical or non-technical your content is. Hi, my name is Frankie Kemp and I help specialists in tech communicate up, down and around their organisations so they're less vanilla and more thriller. The 4-part framework that I'm going to share with you begins with the first 4 letters of the alphabet and therefore is a cinch to remember. A, B, C and D, just in case you forgot the first 4 letters of the alphabet. The first one is A. A stands for attention. Attention being a conversational tool that you can use to open your presentation, such as a story, a question, or a quote. Because at this stage, I'm afraid to say, they don't care who you are, they want you to connect with them. Think about situations where you have, outside of work perhaps, or even in a professional context, you've started a conversation with somebody and then you're 10 minutes in, and then one of you says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know your name." Did you walk away saying, "How rude"? No, you didn't. What you did is engage and hook each other. And that's what attention does. It hooks your audience. And that's why so many people are very nervous when they begin with their name and role, because it feels like they're going into presentation mode and it feels very unnatural. Beginning with one of these conversational techniques will help you to relax as well as captivate your audience. Next is B, because they still don't care who you are. B stands for benefit. Benefit, key message, audience motivator, or the WIFM. What's in it for me from your audience's point of view? And if you remember this, you are in the 1% of presenters who actually articulates it. How many times have you been in a presentation and you think the facts, the information you've been given is interesting, but you don't know why you're there listening to it? This is the bit where you say, this is what you're going to get out of it, because without that, you won't get action. Make sure you mention the B, the benefit. C, credibility. Credibility is now when you say who you are and what you do. We don't do that before we've told them why they need to be listening and connected with them. So you see, you connect, you tell them why, what's in it for them, and then they're interested in knowing who you are, because you're answering the question for them, who are you to tell me? There's a very quick way to do this. So if you click the link in the comments, I'll show you that framework on how to convey your credibility without taking up a 45-minute presentation with a third of that. Because a lot of your credibility will come through the examples that you give, the way you move, the way you speak. And so you don't need to worry too much about front-loading it. Keep it short and simple, and you'd have done your job. We can move on to the next part of the ABCD framework. D. This is the direction. These act as subject headers as to the topics you're going to be covering. You don't need to go into any detail at this point. You'll do that in a second. but not yet. It's a little bit like a tour guide saying we're going here, here and here. We don't go into the history. There are no stories. All it is are bollards in the road to which you are journeying your audience. That's it. In this section, I'm going to give you 2 factors that you can add in to stop you getting derailed by senior leaders and keep mixed audiences with you, no matter how technical or untechnical they might be. You've done half of the heavy lifting if you've mentioned the D, direction, because one of the reasons why senior leaders will tend to interrupt a speaker is because they are going to be questioning what you're covering. They'll just stop you and say, excuse me, are we going to be talking about... You won't have that if you're mentioning the direction. And if it needs to be renegotiated, it can be renegotiated then, rather than halfway through the body of your presentation, throwing you off the content completely. The other element to factor in is questions, because that's another reason why senior leaders will tend to interrupt. They'll just bowl in with questions. But if you say something like, I really welcome your questions, so please write them down or keep them in mind, because I'm going to be allowing 10 minutes at the end for you to ask me anything related to this subject. Lastly, many people worry about losing mixed audiences. And when I say mixed audiences, you could be talking to everybody from new starters, apprentices, right up to the C-suite. Or perhaps you're speaking to people who have different roles, such as ops and legal, in which case you need a caveat. An example of a caveat might be, I know there are people here from ops and we also have members of the legal team, so I'll be covering this from both angles. Please bear with me. And that way, if you're talking about one particular perspective, you don't lose the other side of the audience, especially if people are not aware that there are other members of the audience who are not of their category, whatever category that might be. They'll let you off the hook and they'll go, okay, they're talking about that, but they'll come back to our interests soon. The caveat will keep mixed audiences with you, whether they're technical, non-technical, whatever role they have or level within the organization. Using this 4-part structure, the A, B, C, D, then adding questions and the caveat if there are differences within your audience, will help you to captivate and engage right from the get-go. Need this in writing? Click the link in the comments and that's exactly what you'll get.